Well, hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I am joining you from Sac State's downtown campus where class 14 is currently meeting. They're just starting a break for lunch. So I get to slip away and meet with you all and have a conversation with you about what the NELP program is all about. I want to welcome our panelists today. We have Lisa Reitzman from Street Soccer USA. We have Amanda Blackwood, who's running her own consulting business, OE Consulting. We have Mark Adams, who is with Tykert. And we'll have all these folks introduce themselves in a bit here. And has Chastity joined us? I haven't seen you come in yet. I think we have Chastity Benson will be joining us here shortly. And then to kick us off, I want to introduce to you the founder and the board chair of the Nehemiah Community Foundation, the founder of the Nehemiah Emerging Leaders Program, Mr. Scott Syfax. He will be our MC today, so I will turn it over to him.
All right. Thank you, Scott, and welcome, everybody. Thank you for taking time out of your day to join us to learn a bit more about the Nehemiah Emerging Leaders Program and to answer any questions that you all might have about the program itself. And we are extremely privileged and blessed today because rather than someone just kind of telling you what they think it's about, we actually, in this panel that is going to be joining us today, are going to be hearing from people who've actually had the experience themselves, and they can give you not only their experience and insights, but answer any questions that you all might have. Just a bit of background. The Nehemiah Emerging Leaders Program is in its 15th year. It was created out of the Nehemiah Corporation of America's foundation, the Nehemiah Community Foundation. And its mission has always been to take high potential emerging professionals and to give them that extra bit of coaching, of leadership development training, and of camaraderie and collaboration with others of like minds, to give them a platform so that way they could reach their aspirations, not only professionally. This is a program that creates C-suite leaders. And so if there is one true qualification, it's you got to want to lead. You got to want to run something. But beyond that, we also want to further enhance that civic participation gene, where we are about elevating people so as they grow and achieve professionally, they are doing exactly the same thing civically in building and investing and leading our communities through acts of service and through serving on boards, commissions, and other types of bodies, so that way we're building this region into the very best it could be and more reflective of all of the people that live here. So that's kind of the overview of the program. At this point, so that we can go ahead and get started, I'd like to have the panelists introduce themselves, and I think that we'll start at least at the top of my screen with Mr. Adams.
Hello, thank you, Scott. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Thank you. Mark Adams, Nehemiah Class 1, came through the program in 2009. I am currently the Diversity Workforce Development Manager at Tykert, where I put in place strategies and ideas around how do we increase the workforce in construction from a college pathway and a trade. Before this, I ran a construction company for 20 years, so I've always been in construction. And in my free time, I run and operate a consulting firm called Systems to Solutions, where we help small businesses try to figure out the next step in their path, whether they're just getting started or in their next phase of their business growth. But we focus a lot on trying to understand how does I don't like to call it mental health, but the trauma of psychological and mental and emotional issues affect business and from growing. So that's what I like to do in my spare time. So I actually run 3 full-time jobs. I haven't got rid of the construction company. And I'm excited to talk to you more about what Scott mentioned. I currently sit on the board for the Greater Sacramento Urban League, and I'm also on part of a construction advisory council in Sacramento.
Okay.
Thank you.
Amanda, why don't you go next?
Hello, everybody. I am Amanda Blackwood. So I was in class 007. So seems like a long time ago, but that was, I don't know, what was 8 years? However long ago that was. So my experience, I had come only from private sector. I was taking on larger jobs and thought, well, leadership, okay, like that seems good. That seems like something that I should try to learn about. I did not go into NELP with a lens on civic engagement because I didn't really know it existed until my NELP experience, which was a very eye-opening way of, hey, here's how your community actually functions. There's on the private business side, we can just kind of get in and do our jobs and do what we're doing, but to be aware of how things are connected, why your sheriff matters, who the DA is matters, how you work with your mayors. Like there was just a whole world of how communities operate and how you might create culture to do great things, and nobody can really do anything alone. So it was an exposure to that whole idea. Through that, I ended up taking on a crazy job that I just wrapped up. I had the great privilege of being the first female president and CEO of the Sacramento Metro Chamber of Commerce. And it's, 125 years or whatever at the time. And I will tell you in a nutshell, I'm not your typical person that did that gig. So it was a lot of change. It was a lot of asking real questions about what our public policy does to the communities we live in and the role of business in that. But at the same time, we're here to make money and we're capitalists and we're running small business, and how do you hold space for all of it? So I tell you that whole story to say, I wrapped that for 6 years. I'm now back in private consulting and get, the blessing of having a network through NELP and then doing a role like that is your network now. So if this is something that you want to do, all of us that go through all this, even though we may be doing different jobs now, when you do NELP, whatever your dream is, wherever you want to go, you're now surrounded by a family of people that actually know how to get you there. So it's not just going to pump you up with ideas and vision and I'm going to make change. It's okay, well, Angela, how are you going to do that? What you going to do? And who do you need to know? And, what's going to get you from here to there? So that you can be somebody like Elisa Reitzman, who is now, took a seed of an idea to now a decade later, oh my God, #1 Netflix movie in the UK. So I just say it to say the decision you make right now will open you up to the entire world that exists. And it's not just to inspire you, but to actually give you the tools and the people and the help and the honesty and the accountability that you need to make that thing happen. So if you're ready, we're ready. If you need more time, do it another year. You can do it another time. But when you're ready to live life the way that you have the great privilege of living, you can. And we're all here to help you do that.
Thank you, Amanda. Lisa, why don't you go next?
Thanks, Amanda. I was gonna say, if you do NELP, you can grow up and be like Amanda or Mark, but hey, I'm Lisa Reitzman. I was in class 5, and currently I run the Street Soccer USA Sacramento chapter, which is part of a larger national organization. And when I got into NELP, that was my prime objective, was how do I take this passion that I have around this idea of street soccer, this like weekend experience that I'd had, how can I make that into something in Sacramento? I didn't have a lot of experience in leadership. The only place I ever led was on a soccer field, and I didn't have a lot of professional experience, and I had a lot of stuff, a lot of baggage that I was bringing to the table. So I felt like NELP would be what I had learned about it and seen from a distance, that it would be
the NELP C-suite event.
somebody's from what I had seen was that it would help kind of expedite like access to people that could who would care about what we were trying to do and then help us get there. And that's essentially what it did, but it gave us so much more than that. I mean, so like Amanda said, it was really like this small seed of an idea, a dream. Didn't exist in Sacramento. We've grown it to be quite a large chapter now that works with homeless adults. We do free programming for kids, like 500 a week, and work with like 5,000 kids a year, all for free. So that didn't exist before. And in NELP too, and a lot of our mentors were like, don't create something that already exists. Create something that doesn't exist right now. And so that was another message that we were able to do, and knowing that we're doing work, not competing in, the same work other people are doing, but something that didn't exist here. And over these last 12 years, our entire foundation was a product of Nehemiah. It was either our board members, our mentors, our fellows, and our longtime donors. A couple of our board members are on this call right now, to just kind of give you an idea of how these relationships will grow and manifest when people believe in you, and you have to be able to communicate what you're trying to achieve. So that's something you may learn in NELP, or maybe you already know now, but that is going to be a big asset for you in this process. And then, like Amanda said, we just had a Netflix film about Street Soccer USA and about this event called the Homeless World Cup come out on Netflix. So we're all pretty stoked about it. And definitely, if I could have added a credit in the film to Nehemiah, I would have.
Okay. Thank you so much, Lisa. Before we get into it, I wanted to just acknowledge the presence of a couple other people. We do have some other alumni on the phone, and we actually have our new CEO, Deneva Sheldon, here with us today. And Deneva, did you have anything you wanted to say before I made a few other quick introductions?
Just happy to see so many wonderful faces out there, some familiar, some new faces, which is always exciting. Hopefully you guys get all the information that you need, and know that myself, Scott Syfax and Scott Seiden are also around for even after all of this to answer your questions as you go through this process and figure out if the Emerging Leader Program is for you.
All right. I also want to acknowledge our previous executive director and class 1 alumni, Rhonda Staley Brooks, is here with us today. And Kimberly Diaz, another alumni, is with us here today. So we've got I think I got everybody, but we've got a blessing of having even additional alumni with us. So why don't we go ahead and get started? And actually, one thing I would like to do is just very quickly, if everyone would be willing just to introduce themselves, just your name and what you're doing these days. And that's it. Just, 15 seconds, very, very quick. And anybody can get started. And then we'll get into the rest of the program.
Hello, I'm getting started. I'm Kimberly Walker because I'm waiting for my rental car because somebody hit my car. So I'm in the parking lot. So I wanted to get started before I had to start talking to Enterprise. But my name is Kimberly Walker. I am currently at Sac State, and I am the building coordinator for Sac State Downtown. Shout out, NELP is down in my building right now. And I am the executive assistant for the senior AVP for community relations and campus engagement.
All right. Thank you. Welcome. Next.
I'm going to keep it with Sac State. I'm Melanie Richardson. I am a human resources director of talent acquisition. So I oversee employee recruitment and acquisition for Sac State for staff and management.
Welcome, Melanie. Next.
I'll go next. Linnea Lewis, the public information officer for Sacramento State, and also the CEO of Linnea Enterprises.
All right. Thank you. Welcome, Linnea.
I'll go next. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, Lavelle Harris. I am a small business owner. My husband and I run an automotive repair shop in the Sacramento Delta. We're Morris Motors, so looking forward to learning more about NELP.
Welcome, Lavelle.
I can go next. I'm CJ Lynch. I'm the CEO for Red Dog Real Estate, smaller brokerage here in downtown.
Welcome, CJ.
And I'll go next. I'm Cynthia Smith. I'm the founder and executive director of Sisters
I've
of
had some of those issues too, but somebody hit like the back fender.
Kimberly, thank you.
I'm trying to keep up with the mutes.
Go on, Cynthia.
And I'm Cynthia Smith. I'm the founder and executive director of Sisters of NEA.
All right. Thank you, Cynthia. Welcome.
I'll jump in. Hi, everyone. My name is Martin Sanchez. I am an entrepreneur and creative leader serving at Reinvent Stockton Foundation as a strategist and digital media, all that fun stuff, all the fancy words, but I also have operated businesses and do consulting and similar work. Nice to meet everyone.
Welcome, Martin.
Happy to go next. Go ahead. I'll go after you.
Hi, I'm Shannon Scott. I'm owner and operator of Naturalistic Salon and Spa, and glad to be here.
All right. Welcome, Shannon.
Hello, everyone. I'm Sergio Valenzuela. I've been with Golden One for 10 years. I'm more recently the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Program Manager. So really excited to be here and start making an impact. So thanks for having me.
Good to see you, Sergio.
Hi, everybody. My name is Austin Perry, and I am the Racial Equity Program Manager at the California Coalition for Rural Housing. And I'm the co-founder of an organization called Why Build, and that's here in Sacramento. Nice to meet everybody.
Welcome, Austin.
All right, Scott, I'll jump in. Brian Hoblet, principal at CVF Capital Partners. Good to see some familiar faces, Lisa, Amanda, a couple Amandas, and you too, Scott. Good to be here.
Always a pleasure to see you, Brian. Thank you.
Yes.
Hi, everyone. My name is Delia Estrada. I'm the California Region Manager for Community Impact with Comcast NBC Universal.
All right. Welcome.
Hi, I'm Roxana Chia with Sacramento Regional Builders Exchange, Director of Member Services. I've been with the exchange for about 7.5 years and working the commercial construction industry in the Sacramento region.
Nice to see you, Roxana.
You as well. Thank you.
Angela, I think you were next.
Hi, everybody. My name is Angela DeClaro, and I am the program manager for Find Your Voice over at 916 Inc. here in Sacramento.
Nice to see you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Roxana Humphres Moreno, and I am with the California Chamber of Commerce, another Roxana here, and I am their events manager.
Nice to see you, Roxana.
Nice to see you.
Hi, my name is Joanna Mack. I am an architect and practice lead at Salazar Architects. We specialize in multifamily housing, whether that market rate or affordable. So nice to meet everyone.
Welcome, Joanna.
Hi, my name is Janine Anderson. I am the founder and CEO of Build a Sunday here in Rancho Cordova.
Nice to see you, Janine.
Hello, everyone. My name is Anissa Ramirez, and I am a compliance examiner with the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, or FDIC, and I'm really looking forward to learning more about NELP.
Hello, Anissa.
I can go. My name is Gracie Oskrins. I manage the experiential leadership programs at SMUD, and I'm here to learn more about Nehemiah Emerging Leaders. I'm so excited to be invited, so thank you. And hi, everyone.
Welcome, Gracie.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Alex DiCaprio. I'm a senior strategist at First Five California. We are California's Commission on Children and Families, and I'm very happy to be here today. Thanks for having me.
Nice to see you, Alex.
I'll go next. Hello, everyone. My name is Nadia Niazi, and I'm founder and executive director of a nonprofit called FITRA, empowering vulnerable youth in Sac County with job training. And same here, like happy to see some familiar faces, Rhonda Brooks, Deneva Sheldon, CJ. Hello.
Welcome, Nadia.
Here as well.
Welcome.
I'll go next. I am Laura Gonzalez Woodward. I am a contracts and purchasing manager for the city of Oakland. I manage all solicitations, professional agreements, and purchasing activities citywide. I'm also serving as the board president of a Sacramento-based nonprofit cottage housing. I'm excited to be here.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Amanda Lewis, and I am the project manager / executive assistant in the president's office at American River College.
Hi there, Amanda.
Hi, Scott. I can go.
Okay.
Kimberly Diaz, I'm one of the alumni. I was in class 11, and when I went through the program, I was doing fundraising at the American Red Cross, but working with my mentor, my coach, all the skills learned, I finally had the confidence to launch my own nonprofit consulting firm, and super grateful and excited just for all the connections and the support, and just, you know, it's been amazing. So thank you all.
Welcome. Okay, there's one other alumni on the line that I didn't see, and it is Tiffany Frazier. Welcome, Tiffany. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. So, what we're going to do right now, everyone, is we're going to open it up to the panel for a series of questions, and we're going to keep this part of the program short so that you all can ask your questions, because that's really the most important part of this meeting today. And so we were going to start with is this. Of all of the what you thought you were going to get, well, how was the program different from what you thought you were going to get out the program and what you actually have received and utilized as the years have progressed? And Mark, why don't we start with you?
Thank you, Scott. Yeah, so it was exactly to some degree. So I was class 1, so this was the start of it. And my walk was different because I was searching for leadership. I was searching for something that would allow me to work with people who were doing almost the same thing I was doing. I like what Melanie said in her comments. She said a great diverse group of people doing impactful work. And that's what I was searching for when I ventured into this program. And so I was excited for that journey. I've taken from it what Kim said, the confidence to do things that I never thought that I was capable of doing. I was running a construction company. I was doing fairly well in that construction company when I started Nehemiah. And I realized that when I looked around my circle of friends, I was at the top and I had nobody else to talk to. So when I was dealing with financial issues or struggles or complex human resource issues, I didn't have this circle of influence to kind of guide me. So, being a part of Nehemiah put me around those certain individuals. What I've taken from it is, and there is no dollar amount that I could put on this program because it was transformative in every aspect of my financial growth, my personal growth, my mental health, and my ability to lead and guide, my understanding of working on boards and board governance. But what I took from it the most was the ability to leverage and build meaning and fruitful relationships. I'm still very in tune with everybody from my class. You saw Rhonda hop up on that screen, and that's the support network you get. That no matter what class you're a part of, we'll all talk about we're the best class ever, and you hear that conversation consistently. But I always say that this, and I said this recently. I said it's the best community ever, right? Because this is the organization that builds a community around you with like-minded individuals and trainees that push you there. Where it's placed me now, I'm in the rooms at tables that I would never thought I would have been a part of, and that's the one thing I take from it. And I'll say this much: I remember asking in the class, I didn't know how to properly eat at a table, and I asked Scott. We had a one-on-one, and Scott said, "What can we help you do?" And I said, "I just want to make sure I use the right fork." And so it was that kind of conversation that we are not necessarily accustomed to, and we might be prideful of not asking. But in that room, I felt safe enough to ask Scott and his leadership team to give us those kind of tools, how to dress properly for certain meetings, and how to eat. And I took all that away. So I know other people have other things to share, so I'll toss it over to Lisa.
Thanks, Mark. I think I definitely got everything I expected, but so much more than that because there was just so much I didn't know about. Like there's a whole level and quality of life that I did not know existed, and I definitely didn't believe it was accessible to me. And then a lot like what Mark said, there was just through the program itself and showing up each month and to every class and the conversations with our classmates, the confidence that gave me by the end, the experience of having these conversations and having to communicate for myself, and just all of the things that came with what the program included. The challenges, navigating challenges that I just were new to me, that I hadn't encountered in a work environment. When I came into NELP, I had very little work experience in a professional environment. I had been a soccer player, a personal trainer, and I was working at a vocational college at like an entry-level position. So stepping into the class with folks like you, I was just so green. And they didn't bother me, but I knew I needed, in order for me to fulfill the dream and vision that I had, I knew that I needed to be able to get into those rooms and handle myself in a way that we could, build relationships and partnerships and confidence in other people in us. And so that's what NELP gave me directly. And then, everything else, the relationships last forever. The mentors lasted forever. And you just don't know what you don't know. And for me, that was everything. And then, today, like, so the immediate impact was, did the program, and after I graduated, immediately created a board that allowed me to move into Street Soccer USA full-time and establish this chapter. And now today, there's been a lot of growth that has come with that. But personally, I've also developed far beyond like what I've acquired through street soccer, and been recognized for a lot of the Sacramento community events and awards. Like this film that's coming out, is the platform that I've stepped into is much larger than anything that I thought. And there's a lot of other big things coming, but I charge that a lot to how we learned how to build relationships in Nehemiah, and how to treat people, and how to not be strictly transactional, and be someone that people want to have a relationship with and invest in personally and professionally.
Actually, we forgot to mention Lisa's movie, that Lisa and Tiffany are both in. Lisa, give a little thumbnail of the movie.
Yeah, so the film's called The Beautiful Game. It was just released, I think, last week on Netflix. It's inspired by a true event called the Homeless World Cup, which we actually hosted that event in Sacramento last summer. So that is the stream of the work that we do with Street Soccer USA. But this film kind of memorializes it for us, and has put us on a global platform now. So really watch it. If you haven't watched it, know that would not be there. We would not be in it if it wasn't for Nehemiah back in 2012 or 13, whatever that was.
So anyway, and just to kind of show you kind of how all these things work, and then we'll get back to the conversation, is Brian, I believe, sits on the board, correct? Brian
and Amanda.
Okay. Amanda sits on the board. Okay, SMUD, which Rhonda represents, has been a major supporter. And let's see, I hope I'm not leaving anybody out.
I do need to give a shout out to Amanda Lewis, who was with Sac State and helped us execute that massive event last summer.
All right. But so for all of you here, what you can see is that is the network in action. Okay, that is the network in action. Anyway, Amanda, you didn't get a chance to weigh in yet, did you? Go ahead.
So I will say it in this way, and maybe for some folks, you'll hear this part. When I discovered NELP, I didn't really know what to expect because I was not part of the network of people that already knew it. So it felt like, man, everyone already kind of knows this and they're alumni of a thing, and I'm like the new person and I don't know what that is. So, but the lessons of what you're saying seem interesting to me. So that was kind of my vibe. Going into this, I was imposter syndrome 1000%. So know like a little bit of my background. You look at my LinkedIn and go, oh, she was the CEO of this and that. Here's your real life Amanda. I grew up in Kansas, like in a trailer park. I did not go to college. I didn't finish my degree. I did my own businesses, got myself to my spot. And so I felt I'm really resilient, like I had a lot of those skills, but to be in a room, even a NELP room of so-and-so went to UC Davis or they went to that, like, I wouldn't even feel like I was considered, so I was confident in my scrappy-do skills, but very out of place with what this whole world even is. And man, who's going to want me and what would that even look like? And, so I went into NELP in this way. So what my expectation was I'm going to learn some leadership skills, which seems important. I know how to run businesses. So I was, 27 or whatever, and had we raised 50 million bucks and we had 90 employees and it was a whole big old thing. And I was treating people horribly because I didn't know how to do anything. Like I knew how to do what I know how to do, but I didn't know how to lead people. Right. So it's kind of practical. Then I got into this whole world and I remember, quick fun fact, I didn't make it into my year. And so I ended up being really fighting for it. I went through the whole experience and was like, what the heck? I now got exposed to this whole thing that I didn't even know existed. And I want a piece of that and I'm gonna get back in. And luckily in my year, somebody had a job transfer and couldn't do it. And they said, you know what, AB, we're gonna give you the shot. So, and then I ended up doing it and being the chair of the Alumni Association and lived and breathed NELP, for 6 years. So I say it to say, I also felt a little intimidated I don't know what I want to be when I grow up. I don't know. So am I ready to do a thing, or am I supposed to figure that out? Or I don't have mentors. I don't know who to ask. I just have learned how to do stuff and I'm resilient. And damn it, if you give me a chance to do something better, I'll probably be able to do it, but I don't even know what it is. So all that to say, I did it anyway. And that experience was, how do you just lean all the way into being super vulnerable with that in an environment where everyone kind of feels like that? And then how about we just play with some hard stuff and see if we can figure it out? Because what's the worst case? It's not my job. I'm not going to get fired. It's safe. It's safe. And our human relationship with safety is so many layers and it's whatever. But if you could believe me, that especially those of us that come from a hard background where safety is a nice idea, but not a space that you can hold for long, you can. And you get to experience what it's like to have that at a peer level and what it is to have as a mentor level. And Scott's going to say things like, you're all my kids and I think of you like this. And this man means that to his core. Celeste, his wife, who is an angel from heaven, means it to her core. These are, Rhonda means it. These are people that are like, your family, let me help you. I see you and you are worth just as much as anybody else. It doesn't matter what zip code you were born into and this and that. You're here now and you're trying to make the very best of the life that you have. And so let's do that. And that may be you exactly know what you want. So there's going to be people that you're going to hear today and you're hearing, I'm an executive director of this thing. And you're like, well, shit, I'm not an executive director of a thing. Should I be doing that? I just work somewhere. Everyone's going to feel all of the ways and you're going to share that experience together. And I guarantee you, those of you who think you know what you want right now are also going to have a life-changing experience and then realize there's a whole world of stuff you didn't know was possible. So you don't know what you want. And none of us do. And I'm 41 and I change my stuff all the time. So no, you don't need to have it figured out. You're precious and perfect as you are in this moment right now. And you're going to bring whatever that is, your experience, your unique human experience with your set of experiences to a dialogue. And it's going to matter. And it's going to matter to you and it's going to matter to help other people process. And the last words I'll leave with, Scott will tell you in NELP, the reason that he created this culture is so that we can be the future stewards of community and take on hard things. And taking on hard things means there's going to be a lot of conflict. There's conflict and change. There's conflict and hard things. But how might you learn to love each other enough that through conflict, you can still have dialogue? And real life story, my class 8 years ago, who was in my class was me, Flo Kofer, Dave Kempa, right? Kaim Morton, Cornelius Burke, all of us end up working in politics. In this very last cycle, I essentially ran the opponent candidate to Flo. It's not personal, it's the job that I do. I represent business, right? And I donated to Flo. And I'd be on the call with her telling her my stuff. And Dave is a good friend and he's going to blow me up in the press because it's the job that I do. And we're going to have a beer and we're going to hug it out. And we're going to solve problems together because there's jobs and then there's community. And NELP is community. And it is much more than any title, any place, anything. It's real human connection, not when it's easy and it's drinks and it's fun, but when it's hard and it's problems and you disagree, and you have to be able to hold each other through that. And that's what I learned in my experience that I had no idea was, I thought we'd read some books. And that's what it ended up being for me.
Thank you, Amanda. And before we start out on Q&A, and Melanie, I'm gonna pick on you. You're gonna be first up. I wanted to find out if any of the alumni wanted to weigh in on any of this at all.
I do, Scott. Thanks for the moment. What Amanda said is, when I started in NELP, I felt like I arrived, right? Like I was already a CEO of a nonprofit. You know, I'm looking at Mark Adams. He was the CEO of his business, and Chris Johnson. And we could go back now 15 years and say we were just beginning. And so you might have that title now, you might have that experience, but it really is the beginning of your journey. There's so much more out there. So you come into NELP and you give it your all, and what you put in is what you get out of it.
I have to 100% agree with Rhonda. No one would have thought I graduated from the program in 2018. No one would have thought that I would be running the organization 6 years later. So it is definitely an experience that will push you. I was in a cubicle. So it was not like I was somebody that was considered important in the society. But not only that, I also opened my own business. So I'm running Amaya, and I run my own business as well. And so it also teaches you about your own capacity, because I'm married with kids as well, and it gets rough, but you have more capacity than you know that you do, especially when you have a strong network. And that's what we help you with.
Okay. So let's go to the first question, and Melanie, go ahead.
Well, actually, Geneva just mentioned it. It was this idea of capacity. So, you know, in addition to like career, I have a consulting firm, I have a family. I'm just wondering how y'all were able to kind of balance that responsibility of being the program, giving your best effort while you're giving so many other things your best effort. So that's really a very practical question that I have about this. And it's a reason I was invited before, but I just didn't have capacity. So I just wanted to hear a little bit about that.
Who wants to take that?
I can jump in here. I did the program with a 2-year-old and then got pregnant a few weeks into the program. So I guess that one, you know, resonates with me. But I think for me, I loved how they laid out the curriculum and laid out what books needed to be read, what things we're going to do, so I could pace myself and I could, you know, read 10 pages a week or do whatever it was so that I could really pace the program to when I could fit it in. My employer was very supportive, so I had the support of them to kind of, you know, do the sessions on work time, and they understood there was projects and things that are going on. They wanted regular updates, and they wanted to know that I was getting a lot out of the program. So I think getting their support was key. And then also my husband was amazing and, you know, very supportive. I think I missed a family party, but I stayed home that day by myself, you know, pregnant, and I read all my books, and it was like one of the most healing, cathartic days. I was just reading and doing my work. So it actually allowed me to sort of say, hey, I need some time for me to do this, and just forced me to sort of carve that out. And it was fantastic. But yeah, pregnant and little ones, it can be done. It can be done.
Anybody else among the panel or the alumni want to say anything on this?
Yeah, I'll chime in. I think like there are some, you know, things you definitely need to show up for, and then there's a wide range of things that, like, if you've got kids and family obligations, like it's not going to, you know, devastate your outcomes in the program. I think it'd be good for anyone to be really honest about what they can do versus what they can't, because if you really don't have the time, you're just going to be frustrated. But for me, like I felt, I don't know, I guess I was always a student athlete too. Like I think a lot of people you always spend time doing something else. So it wasn't like abnormal to have like a second job or something else to go to. But the other thing is I think it really energizes you. It's not like you're getting, you know, a project or a surplus amount of work that you already don't like that you're drowning in. This is stuff that's gonna energize you, and it's gonna make it more tolerable, and it's gonna make, you know, everything you learn is gonna be applicable, whether it's in your profession or at home, you know, or both. So I think it also fuels a lot of that energy, and it makes the path of resistance a little bit lighter in a lot of areas, because you're just going to get more skilled at everything you do.
Okay. All right. Other questions? Anybody got a question?
Yeah, Scott, I do. Just so generally, like high level, I know what the sausage looks like when it comes out, but what does it look like when the sausage is being made? So what's the time commitment per week? How many weeks? Everything else. So love the end product, but what does it take to get in? And what does it take on an ongoing basis? And how many weeks are we looking at?
I'm going to answer the first part about what does it take to get in, and then I'm going to let Scott and everybody else weigh in on the rest of that. So what it takes to get in is that one, you have to be nominated, and at the end of this call, Scott is going to go through the process for that. The second is that once you're nominated, we ask you to fill out an application, and I need to give the public service announcement right now, which is that um, when you fill out the application, we're not looking for a New York Times bestseller, but don't just throw it together. It takes what happens many times is someone will come to me on the street and they'll say, "Hey, I was nominated for NELP and I filled out my application, and how come I wasn't selected to come to selection day?" And I'll say, "Excuse me, what's your name again?" My name is Mary Smith. "Oh, you're Mary Smith." Yeah, well, Mary, the fact that you put a 2-sentence answer to one of the questions that was supposed to tell us about you and make a judgment, the screeners, which are all people who are, you know, pretty high-ranking, respected leaders in the community, when they see somebody who fills out 2 sentences or has awful, you know, didn't even run the spell check on it, sometimes that bounces people out. They've had to apply 2 and 3 times just to get into selection day. So I want to warn you about that up front. You can't mail it in, and we'll be able to tell if you did it on Chat GPT. So I'm just warning you all right now. Okay. After the application process, they're reviewed by a community of leaders, like I said, and then they make the decision as to how many people are invited to an all-day selection process. That process, we're not going to tell you about what's in it. You have to experience it for yourself. But suffice to say that at the end of that process, a decision is made as to who gets into the program. And typically it's somewhere between as few as 11 and as many as 19. It really depends on, you know, just the composition of the people that go through selection day and the excellence that they demonstrate. And I'll leave it there with that. For the rest of the program, I turn it over to you, Mr. Seiden.
So time commitment is, it begins in October and you graduate in June. So it's about a 10-month program. You meet at least once a full day on a Tuesday of, usually it's the first Tuesday of the month. And then you will also meet in the evening of the following Wednesday. There are, I think, 2 Saturday days, and there are 2 out-of-town retreats, just 1 overnight retreat. So that's the in-class commitment, but you do have outside of class commitments. You read 1 book a month. You have a class project to work on with your team. You have homework assignments that will come out of your class session that you'll need to apply some of the skills that you've learned from the class in a setting where you can practice those kinds of abilities. So it's not easy. We're not here to tell you that it's easy. But but it is rewarding.
Mhm. Anybody else want to weigh in real quick before we go to the next question? Okay. All right. Next question.
And I should point out too, with the time commitment, the in-class time commitment, when you receive the application, it will have a class calendar published with it. And we do expect 100% participation. We ask you to commit to those days, and we ask you to clear that if you have a supervisor, if you're working for an employer, that your supervisor needs to sign off on it as well to make sure that you have the time off to participate.
Mhm. So let me share with you a couple other quick things. All right. So what is it that you're going to get as a part of this program? Well, you're going to get a curated set of some of the finest leadership trainings that we've been able to put together anywhere. You are going to, and while a lot of people think of NELP from the outside as, oh my gosh, well, you're going to train me how to do this and do that. Really, what's really transformational is that you're going to learn a lot about yourself. And you're going to, the trainings are designed so that you do a lot of diving, deep diving into finding out more about what you are. Because what we're trying to do is to build on all of the wonderful gifts that you already know that you've got, but also help you either discover or rediscover some of the wonderful things that you might have forgotten along the way, or somebody convinced that you no longer had. And so that's one thing, is the training. The second is the mentorship and coaching. We provide everyone with at least the start of what we call your personal board of directors. Every successful corporation should have a strong board of directors. And when you put together a board of directors, you want an expert in all sorts of different things depending on the organization. You want an expert in finance, you want an expert in operations, you want an expert in marketing, you want an expert in talent management, you want an expert in all sorts of different things. Well, as an individual, why should you get any less? So we don't build out your entire board of directors, but we give you a head start on it so that way you can manage what we call the corporation of you, me incorporated, to whatever achievements and level of success that you aspire to. And so that mentorship is there, but we also help you learn how to engage effectively with mentors and actually also identify, just as important as mentors, champions. Because mentorship is one thing, championship and advocacy on your behalf is something else. And the combination of the two can be jet fuel for you moving into the realms that you aspire to and making the impact and difference that will be meaningful in your life. The third thing is we bring you community. And that community is the community of the 200 plus NELP fellows and alumni that exist today. And let me just tell you, within this part of California, it is a powerful network. It's so powerful, in fact, and I'm not going out on a limb and saying this, that if you walk into a strange room and you meet people and you tell them all about, your wonderful professional accomplishments and everything else, and you happen to mention that you are a NELP alumni or a NELP fellow, people tend to receive you different. It's just true. It's just true. But you become part of a community of impact players. But you have to ask yourself the question, do you really want to hold that responsibility? Because if you're not in it to lead, this is not the program for you. And we can recommend a lot of great programs for you, but we want people in the C-suite and people who are going to be impact change maker catalysts in whatever environment that they're in. So if you want to win, we're your team. If you want to sit in the stands, we're not for you. So there you go. We are at 12:53 and we always get people out on time. So I wanted to first come to our CEO and ask her if she had any final comments before I ask the panel to make their final comments. And then we're going to end with Scott Seiden.
I'm just super happy that you guys all came, took the time out. Know it's lunchtime and you're probably wanting to get something to eat as well. So being able to take the time out for yourself for this hour is greatly appreciated. Hopefully we were able to give you some idea of what the program is and how we operate. Again, you can reach out to any of us afterwards to ask any questions. Any alumni that you meet is what is open to answer any questions for you about the program, except they're not going to tell you exactly what happens while you're in the program. But they will help you get to a point where you feel comfortable submitting your application and those types of things. So we appreciate you guys spending some time with us this afternoon.
Okay, let's start with Amanda this time. Amanda, final words.
My final words would be, you know, you're going to be absorbing all of this that you heard today. And so questions you may be asking yourself are like, man, this seems compelling. Is it the right time? Does it make sense? You know, I would really encourage you to build on what Geneva just shared. Do reach out to alumni that were in the program if you have other questions. They're not supposed to tell you all the secrets because you won't get the same experience. But if you're thinking like, I'd like to talk to a couple more people and hear what it was like for them and ask some more, and maybe not in this group setting, but before I make that leap, I'd like to talk to some people and I don't know them. It's okay. Like what you're going to experience is the magic of NELP. You could look up 3 names and phone numbers of people that never met you in your life. And you're going to say, I'm considering being a fellow. Would you just have coffee with me and maybe kind of tell me about your experience? And they're probably going to say yes. So, you know, I know that you're weighing a lot and you may have other questions, but I would end with, it completely changed my life. And the way that I viewed, best way I could describe it is I didn't realize there was a lid on what I could do until I realized that there wasn't. And it was just a new world of things that is so much bigger than just the experiences that we have had. And you never know unless you just throw yourself in and you just kind of F and go for it. So, you know, I just say that to say something brought you to this call today, something compelled you to say, I'm going to invest an hour in myself today. And there's a reason for that. So, you know, like, what do you want? And what do you want to do? And what do you want to be about? And maybe this is the exact right thing right now. Maybe this was the spark you needed for next year. But whatever got you on this call today, don't let that die, because something's telling you there's more to your life than you currently have. And there is, you know, and we're all here to get you there.
Scott, you're on mute.
Lisa, very quickly. Final words.
Yeah, I mean, most often I regret when I look back is the question is, why did I wait so long to do that? So like, don't waste time. If this is for you, you will not move backwards in any kind of way. So if you've got the time and you've got the interest, like Amanda said, you're here, go for it.
All right. Mark?
The same as far as class 1, ditto to everything they just said.
All right. Scott, wrap us up.
So one of the questions we get is funding. How do I afford to go to this program? Right? The tuition is $8,000. It's not a small amount. Hopefully you have the backing of your employer, that they have some professional development funds. They are able to apply to that tuition. We also have had fellows have experience or had success with GoFundMe type funding models where they ask family and friends to contribute towards their tuition. And anything that you pay personally from personal funds, you can pay that over the 10 months of the program. So you can break it up into 10 payments that make it a little more digestible. So that concludes what we have to say. If anybody has one last little question, please ask it. You have my email address, or you will if you haven't already received an email from me. Reach out. We are here to answer any questions, and we hope to see your application in our pipeline and we can get you going.
Don't let the cost that you hear today be a barrier. Apply, get in there, and then let's work together to figure it out. It'll be worth it to you. You can't see what's on the other side, but there's so much more than we can even explain right now. So come on in, get that nomination in, fill out that application, no chat GPT, and let's move forward to the next level of your life. Take care, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.